What is going on, guys? My name is Atlantis, and welcome back to Ice and Fire, the Bestiary. Now, this, if you're new to the series, this is a tutorial series on every mob in the Ice and Fire mod. I was about to say series. In the Ice and Fire mod, and for this episode, we're doing Fire Dragons, because it just seems appropriate, because we did Ice Dragons first, now we're doing Fire Dragons. So, when you first download the mod, if you're in creative mode, I would assume you'd go in creative mode, unless you're just epic like that and like to go straight into survival. You're going to see something like this in the inventory. Now this is the Bestiary. Now it explains almost every single aspect of the mod. It has all these different tabs that show you everything you need, and this will give you a basic introduction to the Ice and Fire mod. Now, what we're going to be going over today is the Fire Dragon. Now, there's two tabs with Fire Dragon, and Fire Dragon Eggs. I'm not going to read those because they just tell you everything that I'm about to tell you, and less, actually. So, let's get into this, shall we? So, when you first open up the mod, you're going to see that there's this tab right here in your inventory, and then you can scroll through and you'll see that there's different dragon eggs. Now, to get these eggs, you have to kill a stage 4 or 5 dragon, and this is the only way to tame a dragon. I'll explain how to get the eggs in a little while, but this is the only way to tame a dragon. You have to get an egg and you have to hatch it, and I'll explain how to hatch it, and I'll explain how to get these eggs in a moment. Now, when you kill a dragon, it will drop scales. Now, it doesn't always drop scales, but I'll explain why in a moment. It will drop scales, and you can make armor out of these scales. These are the 4 different kinds of armor, and the dragon will drop the color scales that it is. So if you kill a red dragon, you'll get red scales. So, moving along, and this armor is better than diamond armor, and it takes all the enchants. So it's just, and the crafting recipe is just vanilla armor. Nothing out of the ordinary. So when you kill a fire dragon, you'll get a skull, which you can't wear, you can't put it on your head. It's kind of boring, to be honest. I wish you could. See, no head skull. But you can place it, and it can be a bit of a trophy. Then the size of the skull will correspond to the size of the dragon. So if you kill a dragon that's twice as big as this, you're gonna get a skull that's twice as big. This one is just a stage 4 dragon. So yeah, if you kill one that's bigger than this, you'll get a bigger skull. So, and then the other things they can drop. Now, they will drop scales, but I'll get on to that. I did say a moment ago that they won't always drop it. I'll explain why in just a moment. They will drop an egg. Now, if you kill a stage 4 or 5 dragon, they'll drop an egg, as I've just said. However, if you have stage 3 dragons that are tamed, then you'll get an egg that way if you breed them, and I'll explain how to breed them in a moment. So, moving on to this thing, the bones, they'll drop the bones as well. After the scales, a dragon carcass will always drop bones, regardless of anything else. Dragon flesh, this stuff, you can actually eat it. However, I wouldn't recommend it if you have low health, because it will catch you on fire. Just a word of warning. Dragon heart, you can do absolutely nothing with this thing. It's just a trophy. It's useless. It's literally just a trophy. Same as the head, but they're interesting. Actually, the head does have a crafting recipe, but we'll get to that in a moment. Now, this is the dragon's blood. Now, this is a valuable thing to have, because you can use this to craft a rather special weapon. And when I was saying that it doesn't always drop scales, this is what I meant. If you right-click on a dragon carcass with a bottle, it'll take the dragon's blood, but you'll get less scales from it. So that's just a word of warning. If you want the scales, don't use too many bottles. You should really only ever need one if you're a professional and you never die. Now, what I meant that you could use it for something special is this sword right here. Now, this is a flame dragon bone sword, and it does 8 damage, plus 8 damage against ice dragon, and it ignites and knocks back targets. So let's just grab ourselves. I used a cow last time. Let's use a sheep. Smacka. It knocks them back and it catches them on fire, and if they die from that, you get the cooked stuff from it, so that's excellent. And then, let's see. With the bones, you can make dragon bone tools. Now, all these crafting recipes are the same as vanilla ones, except they don't require sticks, they require wither bones. Now, you can see that the handle is grey, that's because it requires a wither bone. And the wither bone is something you can get from either killing a wither skeleton or a cockatrice, and I'll explain what a cockatrice is in a future video. If you're curious, go find out for yourself, but I'll explain what they are in a future video. So you should be able to find them in savannas if you're curious. And then to craft the dragon bone sword, all you need is, let's see, dragon bone sword. Well, not just the dragon bone sword, but the fire dragon bone sword. All you need is the dragon bone sword, which takes a wither bone and dragon bones, and the fire dragon blood. And then to craft this, it's just a wither bone and these two. It's nothing out of the ordinary. So, moving right along to some interesting blocks. This is a fire lily. You usually only find these in deserts from what I found, though I do think you can find them in the nether. I'm not 100% sure. You might be able to. I'm not sure. I've forgotten. I am honestly just forgotten. So, I know for sure you can find them in deserts, though. These are used to make fire lily mixture, and I'll explain what this is for in a moment. However, it is something very valuable, and I would recommend getting it once you have at least 2 dragons of 2 different genders, because it is used for breeding them. Yeah, I'm all over the place. It's later in the day, so my coffee is ran out. Anyway, this is a block of gold, nothing special about it, but it can be turned into gold ingot, and that can be turned into gold nuggets, which make these things. Now these are piles of gold that you'll find around dragon lairs and their roosts. Now there is a thing on that says that if you break those or open a chest in a dragon roost, it'll come back and try and kill you if it hears it. So just a word of warning, don't just try and loot this stuff if the dragon is nearby. I would not recommend it. And the reason this stuff is here is because dragon lairs, both fire and ice dragons, provide ores and such things as ores, different ores, silver, gold. Silver is a thing in the mod. Silver, gold, I guess, let me see, what else? Any other ore, really, that you can find in vanilla Minecraft, as well as the extra ores that it adds, such as silver. Now, I don't think you can find sapphires in Fire Dragon Lairs. Now, the sapphires are these things. I don't think you can find these in Fire Dragon Lairs. So, just all the other ores besides this one. Now, moving along. Now, this is how you craft the Fire Lily mixture. You need a blaze rod, one of the fire lilies, and a bowl. It's very simple, fairly easy to get. It's not hard. So, right along to these. These are the blocks that are associated, I guess, with the fire dragons. This is what happens when they burn stuff. And this is ash. It's just gravel, I think. Oh dear, there goes that path. Let's see. Charred cobblestone. These are the things that you're gonna find underground when you're looking for a dragon lair. Now, if you're digging around in a cave, or if you're flying along the surface and you see this stuff, this is what you're looking for. And you'll be able to tell if it's a roost or a lair, because the lairs will have ores mixed in with them. Now, if you see something on the surface and it's just a black spot of just stone and there isn't any ores mixed in, chances are it's not a lair, it's probably a roost, and chances are it'll have gold on it. I'll show you the difference in a moment. But this is what you're looking for if you're looking for a lair. Now, of course, when they breathe fire, fire spawns everywhere. So just word of warning, they do breathe fire and they will kill you in several hits. And it'll destroy your items if you don't have a gravestone mod, or if you don't have keep inventory. So just word of warning, don't let them kill you unless you don't have your valuable stuff on you. Now, on to this stuff. This is what it looks like when fire dragons breed. This is this thing that spawns. It'll spawn this exact thing. These are nest blocks. And it'll have an egg in the middle of it. Now, I didn't obviously breed a dragon to make this. I just made the structure, but this is exactly what it looks like. Now, these are some very important blocks once you have, well, and not necessarily blocks, but items, once you have an actual dragon. This is a dragon bone flute. This, if you right-click with it, it will call your dragon back to you, and I do believe it works within 4 chunks of the dragon, but however, I'm assuming that can be changed. I know it can be in the config. Yeah, I know it can be in the config, because I've looked. It will call your dragon back to you if they fly off, and it'll bring them back to the ground, and you'll be able to get to them. Now this is a dragon command staff. This is the thing that you need the dragon skull for, so let's see. This is the recipe for it. It just takes a stick, an ice dragon skull, or a fire dragon skull. They'll tell the difference. You can tell the difference based on what dragon they come from. This will... wrong button. Wrong button, me. This will tell you your dragon to either what their home is, to sit, or to wander. Now, the thing is with their home, they will never wander outside whatever you set it to. The default amount of blocks for how far they can wander is 40. However, I have it set to 100 because I've got a secret project coming. I can't talk. My voice is running low. I'm all over the place. Now, how to hatch a dragon egg. Now, what you're going to need is flint and steel. Flint to light a fire, of course. And you're going to need something that burns for a long time. In my case, since I'm in vanilla, it's netherrack. And in any other case, if you have a mod or something that also lets things stay on fire, you can use that. But just make sure it's a block that won't let the fire go out. Now, once you have that, place the egg down on the block and light it on fire, and it will start to do this. Now, it will take some time for it to hatch, so just stay with it. And just make sure it's stays there, and you will need to feed the dragon when it comes out because it will be hungry. It won't gain health until you feed it. So just be ready for that. Just stay close by. It doesn't need to be this special either. It literally just needs to be this. That's it. That's all you need. Doesn't need to be a special hole in the ground. It just needs to be that. Now, once the dragon hatches, you'll have a baby just like this. Now, I've named mine Testy Boy. You can name them. And if you shift right-click, you'll be able to see all their stats. You can add armor to them here. You can name them. You can see their health, their gender, their hunger, how old they are, and who owns them. Now, one last thing I didn't mention when I was explaining the other blocks is the dragon horn. Now, this thing is very valuable to you. This is how you craft it. You need the 4 dragon bones and a stick. And what this does is it allows you to carry your dragon. Now, this is invaluable because this makes you, or gives you the ability, I guess, to bring your dragon to the other dimensions. It gives you the ability to carry your dragon around and keep it safe, or put it in an ender chest so you know you won't lose it if you end up dying. So, and then just to get it back out, just hold down right click until it goes all the way back, and there you go. You've got that. Also, with the baby dragons, they sit on your shoulder. It's so heckin' adorable. Just right click on them, they'll hop on your shoulder. Only the stage 1 dragons do this. Once they're stage 2, they won't do this. So just enjoy it while you can. Now, in order to grow your dragons, there's two things associated with this, I guess. One stops them from growing, one keeps them growing. Now, this is dragon meal. It is crafted fairly simply. Let's see, where is the recipe? There it is. It just takes 5 bones and 4 of whatever kind of meat. It doesn't even have to be vanilla stuff. It works with other kinds of meat as well. I have tested it. So just take whatever you can use with the crafting recipe, and this will grow your dragon by 1 day. So, as you see, I fed it 3, and now it has up 5 days, and it also ups their health, and it ups their hunger as well. So if you grow it all the way up to stage 3, let's just get this one to stage 3. That was stage 2. At this point, you can't ride them. You can literally do nothing with them. They just fly around, and they're kind of annoying if they're not sitting. If you grow it up to stage 3, you can ride it now. So this is the way to ride dragon. You just right click on it, and then with shift you can fly. Well, not shift, space flies, not shift. Shift does this. Don't do shift unless you're near the ground. And then if you press F7 actually, you can actually change your point of view. So especially if you're in first person, you can change the point of view with F7. So there you go. That's heckin' excellent. And then to attack, you just press R. Just pressing R allows you to attack, and it will blow holes in things if you're not prepared. So just a word of warning, unless you have some sort of setting for it to not destroy stuff, it will destroy stuff. So just word of warning. And X is the key to go down. Now it has one more attack as well. If you press G, it will attack things with its melee attack. So that's an interesting thing. Don't mind the hippogriffs. So that's just another way to attack with your dragon. And now, let's say you don't want your dragon to grow. Like, you've got it to a size you like. Say you like it being at this size. This is what Sickly Dragon Meal is for. This will stop your dragon from growing ever again. So it's at 58 days right now. I don't believe it'll go up any higher. You can still feed it the dragon meal, but it has no effect on it. See, it will not grow. It is stopped growing. It will never grow ever again. It will stay how it is forever until it dies. So that's just a little thing about that. To craft the armor, these are the 3 different variants: iron, gold, and diamond. This is the crafting recipe. Just blocks of whatever you're using there. So if you're using gold, this would be gold. If you're using iron, this would be iron blocks. And it requires 21 in total. So just get all these blocks, follow the recipe, and you'll have armor. And it doesn't matter how old the dragon is. You can put the armor on it. It will fit. It'll work. It'll work just fine. Now, let me show you how to find layers and roofs, and just a few other things that I know. On to a different world. Right, so when it comes to finding these dragons in survival, you can always just follow burned areas like this, and it will almost certainly lead you to a dragon. However, the dragon that made this is only stage 3. I'm trying to find the roost. There's the roost. Now this is how you tell the difference between the roost and a lair. I'll show you what a lair looks like in a moment. The roosts will have chests like this. They'll have the gold piles. They'll have charred things like this. Charred ruins is what they're called, I believe. And it'll just be a small spot on the surface, and it'll have a stage 3 dragon that, unless you're out to kill a dragon, it is absolutely useless to you. However, what you're looking for is a lair. Now, a lair will allow you to get an egg. If the dragon is female, you have a 50% chance of it being female, and if it is female, it will, for a fact, drop an egg. As a 100% drop rate, you will get an egg. Now, there are times where you might have to dig to find these. Really, the only ways to find them is either dig, use an X-ray, go into spectator mode and look underground, use some sort of cheat, or just dig, or if you're lucky, you'll find one that breaches the surface. Now, this doesn't exactly breach the surface, however, I guess it kind of counts, because if you fell down that cave, you're gonna find it. So, when it comes to hunting down these things and actually killing them, don't break in from the side like I've just done, because there is a chance that it'll sense you and wake up, and the last thing you want it to do is wake up. So what I would recommend is digging in from the top once you know where the lair is, breaking a hole like this, and then taking a bow. Let's see, where is a bow? A bow. Unless you're using cheats, of course, then just do /kill and that'll work. Using a bow and shooting it like this. Now, if you have a more powerful weapon, I would highly recommend using it. But if you don't, this is all you got. Now, a little factor about these dragons. The enemy ones, or the not tamed ones, they give you weakness, and that you can see that right there. It's weakness. Yeah, it's not pleasant. However, if it's a tamed dragon, it'll give you strength. I didn't get a chance to show you that, but it gives you the strength effect. So that's an interesting thing, and that only comes from stage 4 or 5. So just little word of things. So let me kill this dragon, and I will show you what it drops, and just, yeah, any other thing that I can think of to tell you guys before I end this. Right, so once the dragon is actually dead, this is the position it'll be in. This is a little bit buggy. Sometimes it doesn't take this position until you actually get close to it, but it will no longer take damage once it's dead. So, and now one more thing before I forget. When you come into a lair like this, once the dragon is dead, be prepared to fight off mobs unless you're in peaceful, which I am. Because a lot of mobs will spawn down here and they'll make your day very difficult. So just a word of warning, unless you're prepared to fight off a bunch of mobs, don't come down in here. Bad things happen to people who come down in here. So anyway, this is our dragon we've just killed. It is, I think it's a stage 5 judging by the size. Now, this dragon will either drop an egg or it won't. So if it will be able to tell, so how you get this is just hold down right click, and with an empty hand, you should be able to get all the items from it. And then go ahead and pick up your items. Now this dragon was a female. We did in fact get an egg, so you'd be able to take this back and hatch it how I showed you. So you've got all these things from it. You've got plenty of scales to make an armor. You've got your skull, and let me just show you how big this skull actually is. Yeah, definitely, they get bigger than this, I assure you. When you can grow them for yourself, they will get bigger. They get bigger, trust me. But this is how big the skull is, definitely bigger than the one I showed you in the other world. And this is all the stuff we got, a little bit of flesh. If we'd have used bottles, we would have gotten less scales or less flesh, I'm not sure which. And we got all these bones and an egg. Now, there is the occasional chance that they will drop 2 eggs. I have gotten 2 eggs on several occasions. Now, you are lucky if that happens, it's not guaranteed, but if it is a female, you are guaranteed at least 1 egg. And then you can go ahead and raid all of this stuff now that it's safe down here. Again, I would recommend lighting it up or using some sort of method to make yourself invisible to the mobs, because they will spawn if you are not in peaceful. So let's head back up. Let's see, is there anything else I have to say? Oh no, I'll think about it while I'm on my way up. Ah, there it is. I wanted to test that with the baby fire dragons. Word of warning, do not kill a baby fire dragon. They will crash your game. Stage 1 dragons crash your game if you kill them. Do not kill them. Bad things happen when you kill them, and oh dear, oh my. One moment. This happened again. Ah, get out of here. Right, now that I'm back in the game after crashing myself, totally didn't spawn all these. You see that these dragons are all of different sizes? It's because they're all different stages. Now, I'm not sure if they grow up if they're wild dragons. I don't know if the not tamed ones actually grow, because I've never actually tested it. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to test it. I think I've seen people saying that they don't, and I've seen people saying that they don't. So I assume they don't, but I want to find out for myself. They probably don't. They probably don't. Just assume that they don't until proven otherwise. But there are different stages of dragons. I forgot to mention 1 through 5. Stage 1 is what you just saw. Stage 2 is what we had in our other world when I showed you. Stage 3 is where you can ride them. And then, Stage 3 is also what you're going to find in the wild. You'll never find anything lower than a Stage 3 in the wild. They do not spawn, you won't find them. You might find their skeletons out in deserts, but you will not find them. So that's just a little bit of advice. And then Stage 4 and 5 obviously only spawn underground, unless they dig their way out, which is entirely possible. So just a little warning on that. And that, I do believe, is, yeah, I do believe that's it. They will burn everything if they get the chance, so just warning you on that as well. So yeah, that's it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you learned something, please let me know. I hope if I missed anything, feel free to let me know in the comments. I hope you guys learned something. I hope I was able to help. I am running on nothing because it's the end of the day. I'm gonna finish recording this and go sleep. Anyway, if you enjoyed, please leave a like on the video. If you really enjoyed, be sure to subscribe. The channel is growing incredibly fast. We are at this point 8 away from 1600. That is incredible. Thank you guys so much. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you learned something. I hope I was able to help you if you're new to the mod. And yeah, once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!